Service Alliance community. How y'all doing today? We got some people popping in early, and we were a little bit late. We got carried away in conversation, so sorry about that, y'all.
You just listen
Great
to me
topic,
complain. Morning, EJ.
Alex, morning.
Morning, Alex.
Yeah, no, it was a really good topic. The topic of raising your service call once you start to see certain patterns with customers. You know, and it's just a matter of knowing your business and knowing your customers, and you got to be ready to make those pivots. It has to happen sometimes.
Exactly. You can always go up and then you can always go back down if you feel that it's like hurting your volume and stuff like that, but you'll be surprised on raising a service call fee because I've done it before, and customers don't bat their eye. You might here and there get a customer that, oh, we'll call you back, but hey, they could have done that with your old rate too. Some don't want to pay anything, like I had yesterday. Well, no, it was a couple days ago. I had a customer reach out to me on an HVAC call that their drain was leaking, so they thought it was plugged up, and we had to replace the whole drain. I was like, okay, well, here's our diagnostic fee. Oh, well, I don't want to use anyone that uses a diagnostic fee. Just tell me your price. I'm like, we don't know until we get out there.
Bye.
Yeah. I'm like, I was like, I guess we're not the company for you. I was like, it could be a cracked pan on your evaporator. Like, of course it's going to be way more. Like, I can give you a number, like a roundabout number, but we're not doing us any justice if it's something else and we go out there. You're going to be mad that it's not within that price range and all of that, and you're not wanting to pay a diagnostic. Like, bye. Like, no.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's like, come on.
Not yo customer.
We like to only use companies that don't charge a diagnostic fee. They'll come out for free and give us a free estimate. Like, good luck finding that company. Like,
bye.
Good luck. It's like you'll call me eventually because someone came out and messed something up, and you're gonna wonder why.
Yeah, I always the CSRs were trained to just like let them go. Let them go. Not our customer. Be polite, be courteous, but let them go. Because it's just not worth it. At the end of the day, it's just not worth that kind of fight. So, but anyway, I got my new whip yesterday. I got my new bike.
I saw it. It's nice.
I know.
I like it.
I was impressed for it was like, I don't know, $250 bike, $270 bike with tax, whatever. Not super.
I was impressed too. Those are like, when you get into bikes, like, you can probably pay high dollar. Like, geez, like I just got my kiddo, my 6-year-old. He was running through bikes like crazy. Like every 6 months, I'd go to Walmart, get him a cheap bike, and then 6 months later, it's like falling apart because he's riding it so much, kind of like yours was doing. And then I was like, let me break down and I'm going to buy him a Trek, which out here they're super popular, but they're expensive. For a kid bike, I spent $500 just on a mountain bike, and when you get into those, you can spend $5,000. Like I was at Trek, and just the mountain bikes and just the ones that you use, they're $5-6 grand on some of them. They're insane.
Yeah, I think eventually, because Rob Jones has really he's been super helpful in this. Not only is he a great Samsung guy, but he's a bike rider. So, I have someone to kind of bounce this stuff off of. But, I'm hoping to get 2 or 3 seasons out of it. Maybe a little more. We'll see. Stepped up the price a little bit. So I'm hoping to, stretch that more than my one season at 630 miles. That poor mountain bike. That poor $100 mountain bike, I'll tell you.
Okay. It got its money's worth out of it,
Yeah, more than paid itself off. Yeah. That does not surprise me at all. I have an add-on insurance policy to cover my stable. None of that surprise. He sent me a picture of his stable, and I went, Holy crap! But yeah, no, I'm excited, and I mean that kind of goes into today's topic, actually, which is I'm pulling a TK. I'm coming out of Proverbs 2, talking about seeking wisdom. Good morning, y'all. Good morning, Adam. Good morning, Jenny. Good to see you. Yeah. Up to 13 bikes. Good gosh, man. It's funny. But seeking wisdom. So that'll be the next, that'll be what we kind of dive into here. And that applies to so many areas of life, just so many areas of life. So, pray us in, and then we'll get rolling into the conversation. So here we go. Dear Father, we just thank you for this day. We thank you for this chance we have to gather together. And Father, I just pray as always that you would bless this conversation, bless those following along at home. And Father, we just pray, even if they don't believe what we believe, Father, that their minds and hearts would be open and they hear something useful and helpful, and they'd be able to go out and bless their community. Thank you and praise you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
So, like I said, from a page from TK, pulling Proverbs out this morning. Proverbs 2, 1 through 11. My child, listen to what I say and treasure my commands. Tune your ears to wisdom and concentrate on understanding. Cry out for insight and ask for understanding. Search for them as you would for silver. Seek them like hidden treasures. Then you will understand what it means to fear the Lord, and you will gain knowledge of God. For the Lord grants wisdom. From his mouth comes knowledge and understanding. He grants a treasure of common sense to the honest. He's a shield to those who walk with integrity. He guards the path and protects those who are faithful to him. When you understand what is right and just and fair, you'll find the right way to go. For wisdom will enter your heart, and knowledge will fill you with joy. Wise choices will watch over you, and understanding will keep you safe. It's good stuff right there. I mean, I just tune your ears to wisdom and concentrate on understanding. How many times are we just like, I know what I'm doing. I don't need anyone else. You know, like, I've been that guy. I've been that apprentice. Like, I don't need you. I know what I'm doing. And then you get burned. Oof.
Yep. And that's what's great about this platform. When there used to not be Facebook pages and stuff like that. So, when you're a new tech, you basically just had the leadership of your business. And being that appliance companies are typically pretty small businesses, there wasn't that many people that you can gather wisdom on, and you might have one guy that may have it, you're like, that old timer doesn't know what he's talking about. Like you know, especially nowadays, because you have the old school way of doing things. They're like, oh, he used to work on, old school washers. They're not like that no more. He doesn't know anything. It's like, nope, the dude still has knowledge, like.
Well, the parts houses were great for that. Once upon a time, you saunter up to the parts house counter and have a conversation. You know what I mean? Like, there was guys in our area. Even as I was getting in, some of the old timers, they'd come up to me and ask me how to diagnose and to help them with the newer stuff, or they had questions on that. But then the inverse of that is that I could pick their brains on the older stuff. So now I don't remember how to do it, but I used to be able to change out like the old school, like transmissions and brake assemblies and all that stuff. Heck, I think I even have the tools in my garage right now to do that stuff. Not that I remember it, but I had those guys, that type of resource that you could tap into, because you don't know everything. I had guys that were 40-year veterans that were like, hey, how do I diagnose this? They call it a VMB or something, like VMW. Yeah. What? How do I deal with that thing? You know what I mean? Like, so it's kind of cool to be able to do that. But yeah, it's the Facebook communities, man. Game
It
changer.
makes it, yeah, a lot easier, like I know like my newer technician went on an old school dishwasher that had the drain solenoid and it wasn't draining, and he thought, and this is one of the few times he did not call me on a diagnostic just to kind of go over with me, and I ended up seeing the part come in that was just the drain solenoid, and I'm like, all right.
That's not
I'm
gonna
like,
end well.
I'm like, he's gonna learn on this one. It's already scheduled with the customer. I caught it too late because the part is pulled and it's scheduled for today. And I'm like, all right, well, you know what? You got to learn sometimes. I was like, go
Mhm.
out there. You know, did it? It was, and of course, didn't fix it. I'm like, yeah, you need the whole motor assembly with
The
that one. I was like, the
entire
diverter.
dang thing. You do not buy that as just the solenoid. That is the worst idea.
And
Oh
that's like
goodness.
wisdom right there, like other techs have ran into that because it's like, hey, we all start somewhere, you think it's like, oh well, it must be the drain solenoid. It's like, not with experience, it's definitely not, and
There's probably
it's
about 5 of us in this conversation right now that know what he's talking about, which makes me laugh a little bit. Just a little bit.
gotta pump those knowledge, like but you don't know what this is.
And it's so, I mean, it helps to understand where you came from too, right? Because this comment right here, let's replace a wigwag. If you don't know, it's a really pain in the butt electromechanical piece of jank that went bad all the time for a couple of different reasons. If you've ever heard the old timers talk about the wigwag, it's pretty fascinating. But guess what? That's what the stupid actuator's based on the new Whirlpool VMWs. That's exactly where it came from. Whirlpool engineers designed it out. Younger engineers go, nah, we know what we're doing. We'll bring this back. And they made it worse. Like, come on, you got to know where you came from. You got to be willing to seek that wisdom and understand why something either does work, because something might work really well and there might be a reason why you should be doing it, or something doesn't work and there's a reason why it was engineered out.
Maybe we'll get in a day and a time where they'll realize that variable speed compressors on refrigeration units kind of suck for reliability, and maybe our government will allow stuff to not be so crazy energy efficient, and that doesn't really always tend to make better stuff.
Yeah. I mean, there is something to be said for certain levels of energy efficiency. Um, I almost wonder how a scroll would work with butane, like because of the way you compress it. I know this is a totally different topic,
It
but I am kind of curious how a scroll compress, like like that.
We're going to see it soon because it's going to be coming in the HVAC side of things because 454B and let's see other new refrigerant. There's two flammable refrigerants that are going to be coming out on the HVAC side of things, and HVAC techs are flipping out on the HVAC forums, which I feel like it's funny because it's like we just had the same issue in the Appliance Alliance group. It's like, calm down. It's not scary. It's not going to blow up, and they do have a little bit better of a take because they're like, well, this isn't a residential house. This is dealing with pounds of refrigerator, not ounces like a refrigerator. It's like, well, you're true about that, but still, you're going to lose 50 to 60% capacity. So a normal, condenser that holds 5 or 6 pounds is probably going to be like 2 pounds or 3 pounds of
Right.
refrigerant, but which is nice. And then also the pressures are lower, like on R600, which makes it nice because if you do have a leak, it's going to typically take a lot longer to leak out. Kind of like R12 was. That was like the one killer on 134A. Is like that's where customers got the, hey, can you come over and give me a bump? Is because like the R12 systems would allow you to kind of do that, and it can last 2-3 years with a small leak. You can't really get away with that on 134A. It's like gone in 2 weeks, sometimes a few days.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure 410 is on its way out. If I
Yeah,
understood correctly.
Yep, 410's on its way out. But just like R22, I mean, they came out with 410, and what 95, 96, and R22 just got phased out in
Yeah, it's going to
2020.
take a bit. It's going to take a bit. But I am curious. I am I mean like genuinely curious. I think a scroll compressor in a LG refrigerator with butane might
Yeah.
actually be the way to go just because of the way that it compresses it within the compressor. Um I, I will be shocked if we don't see that soon. And soon being a relative term, but I'll be shocked if they don't try and go that route, because it's actually a little more efficient. And I think with the way that the butane compresses, that might actually.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder what they would be able to get the decibels down to, because those scrolls do have like that different tune on it running and stuff like that, or if we'll start to see kind of like, which I'm kind of surprised that you haven't seen though, is except for on built-ins, is like on HVAC systems, the higher end ones, they actually have like a jacket that goes on the compressor for noise. I'm surprised that we haven't seen anything like that on refrigerators, just to really, I mean, I know LG compressors are pretty silent, but when they do go into high speed, you can hear them, especially when those valves go out, you can definitely hear them at that point, but
They'd rather put lipstick on a pig. Just
yeah. But
that's all of them. I mean, that's all of them. I mean, think about Whirlpool. Like, how many leaking evaporators are we dealing with? Because, it looks pretty. It's so pretty. Okay.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm thinking, and I'm keeping a close eye on it, because Samsung just upped their motor warranty on theirs, or I'm assuming that's going to be on all their motors, like their dishwasher, dryers, and washers, but they're jumped them up to 20 years because they think that their main thinking is, hey, we want the units to last longer, which it's like, we'll make a better unit, and but
they're putting the warranty on the crap that doesn't break. That's what kills me about that. They're putting the warranty on the crap that doesn't break. Dude, like, make a better control board or make a better, like,
and that's what I said. It's like, hey, the control boards get discontinued, like definitely at the 8 to 10 year mark, you're really not able to find a control board, on it.
I had a 3-year-old Samsung washer that I couldn't get the control board for. I mean, like, come on.
I feel like some of it was COVID because that wasn't really the norm, before COVID, really. It was rare for me to run into stuff that was discontinued that early.
We had a few models out here that Samsung was really bad about. But I'll tell you where I wish all the manufacturers would get better is just it's in the sheet metal. I mean, the sheet metal itself is actually more the issue. The like the parts that are within the water. I don't know. Maybe it's just Illinois because our water is trash. But
LG had that issue on their top loaders on their first few years when they came out with their energy efficient top loaders, like on the cup trays for the bleach and stuff. It would rust around, and they actually beefed that up. But I don't fault the one thing that I like about the Samsung coming out with that is just the mindset. Maybe that mindset will trickle down, and hopefully make their units last longer. And maybe, and that's something that the consumers really have to kind of put a stop to, to be, to really say like these appliances need to last longer. And whoever starts to have reliability and longevity, is going to probably start to take over in the industry, and hopefully just seeing that mindset out there, even if it's just a motor that doesn't really fail, it's just the mindset of like the warranty and stuff. Maybe they will spend more time on making their stuff a little bit better.
So I like that. So we got a couple comments to go through here. All digital inverter motors will come with that. And this is the point that I was going to. They're warranting the motor and it doesn't go bad. Warranty transmissions and pumps, warranty the things, or beef them up or do something to make them better. Now, I will say I've had some experience with this because of people that shall be named, because I'm going to throw them under the bus. I really like the Haas app, and it works really well, and it's done a really good job. And I think furthering that and allowing it to go to non-OEMs would go a long way. I think we would be able to see a lot more, because a lot of the issues that happen are really just they're software issues. They're not actually control board issues. So if you can get the non OEMs, right, like the non warranty, like the COD guys, able to use the Haas in the field, you're going to see a lot less issues. OBD2 universe.
That's what
That, I mean, that
that I was just about to bring it up because I don't like it. I don't like that every manufacturer is coming up with their own. It needs to be a normal cable, and some of the forget what it is. I think it was a GE Harmony series.
this is
They were
kind of
able to
cool.
talk.
He
Um,
he does say that it is coming to COD. So that's good news coming down the pipeline from Samsung, by
that
the
is
way.
great.
I didn't
I
want
just
to
wish
gloss
that
over that.
I wish it was a port just like how vehicles have the OBD2 and the car mechanics. They have to their scanner is really expensive, but they have to pay a membership yearly to get the different manufacturers, and that's all mainly the manufacturers want is to be able to get money off of it. Well, make it where it's a software where it's universal, platform, and you can pay the membership fee, on whatever brands you work on. But the port is the same, the computer setup is the same. It's universal, so every tech will have it. They just have to pay that membership to be able to, access.
We have been shouting that from this platform
Yep.
since we launched the podcast 2 years ago. Literally exactly what you're saying. We have been shouting from this platform, shouting from the rooftops to anyone that'll listen, which is none of them. They don't care at this point. But I will keep shouting in the wind because this kind of thing needs to happen. It's a joke. Like it makes us look like a joke, because like even if you go into the HVAC side of things, there is some universal stuff, right? Like there is some universal things that you can, like, all right, you can throw this blower motor in, it's going to work out fine, or you can throw this, compressor in, it's going to work out just fine. Like there's some universal stuff where appliance industry is like, oh, it's proprietary. Shut up. It's not.
And it trickles down. It trickles down on everything. Like I feel like take care of the customers. You're cornering your customers into only being able to use a GE service tech, and
Mm-hmm.
we all know everyone has to start somewhere, and typically they want to start at like Sears or the manufacturer. It's very rare that GE or LG they're going to hire a tech that has 20 years of experience. It's rare. There's a bunch of newbies that are going through, and customers get the short end of the stick because stuff doesn't get diagnosed correctly. On the HVAC side of thing, it doesn't matter what company goes out there; they can warranty out a part. That's how it should be on appliances. If we need tech support, at the end of the day, it's the manufacturers that should take care of their customers, and give them the best service and give them options. They should be able to call up any company. I don't care if it's under a year, if that company wants to do the warranty rate, like, it's like that in HVAC, it's like, well, it's under warranty, that the rate is going to be, lower, like you can tend to accept that, but you're able to, you go to the part house, get it warranted, fill out some forms, and then get it back in the mail, 90 days later, whatever. It should be as simple as that. But
Well,
it's
and
not.
I mean, so True Refrigeration does something similar to that. Is it doesn't matter if you're actually True warranty authorized or not, because their
Yep.
authorization is not, it's not real. But you can go out and you can swap a part in a True Refrigerator, and they'll reimburse you for the part, and you just charge the customer labor, which is, I mean, that's essentially what appliance companies are doing anyway. So, what's the difference? Let's go ahead and make a change in the industry. But I think opening that up, I mean, that kind of goes back into our topic, being able to seek wisdom, right? Being able to seek the advice and seek the things that you need. I think that's where we get this cowboy up kind of crap in appliance repair mainly. I don't think it's as prevalent, as noticeable, because it does happen. I see it in the HVAC groups, but it's not as like in your face attitude in some of the HVAC groups, because you do have somewhere to go, right? Like you can call up any manufacturer for HVAC and they're going to talk to you. They don't care. They're going to talk to you.
Yeah.
You
Like,
call up
hey, what's your
Samsung, you
account
call up
number?
GE, you call up World. They don't care. They're like, yeah, no, we're not gonna. You're not authorized. But HVAC, they're like, oh yeah, well, like you just, you do this and you do that and you turn this dial and you should see this reading, right? Like, so I mean, for appliance repair, we need to be able to change that paradigm, you know.
We really do, and I know a lot of it's stuck on money, that the manufacturers want to funnel more of those repairs and stuff like that back to themselves. And that's why they started coming out with their own employees that would run service and stuff like that. But, it's getting ridiculous. They need to put their customer first and not their bottom line. I mean, they're making more money because their stuff doesn't last as long. So it's like, come on, your bottom line's already getting padded. Like make the service side better for the consumer. Um, one thing is like LG, with their compressor issues. Who wants to wait 3 weeks or so for an LG tech to come out and replace a compressor? No one in their right mind is going to have a broken fridge for that long. So they end up paying a normal company like us to go out and replace a compressor for $1,000, where they could have maybe saved, 400 or 500 bucks, from, LG or them just warranting out the compressor and send it to us for free, which used to be easier too. EJ and I were just talking about that, the other day, where it used to be so easy to get letter of authorization from LG and they would send you a compressor and you get it two to 3 days, now
Heck, the
not so
the
much.
the freaking authorized companies can't even get crap going. I was talking to a couple authorized companies that are having a heck of a time getting stuff. So they're heading the wrong direction. No, but like this is a good point. This is something else that TK and EJ and us have all been shouting. Like there's just no standardization as far as training goes. I mean, there needs to be a certain base level. I don't like having the government involved in things, but I think if we can privatize like a lot of HVAC has done. I mean, because NATE certification and some of the other certifications that you can get.
Yeah.
I,
And I
I
mean,
I'm not a huge fan of NATE. I'm just
yeah.
it's the first example. There are certain certifications that at least put a baseline standardization in HVAC, and so like he's not wrong in this. It is easier to give an authorization because there's at least a baseline level of knowledge that has to be attained.
Or minimum, you know, make it where you have to get a license, even if it is just proof of general liability insurance in a license that if you screw over customers, you get that license yanked, and then you couldn't do warranty work and stuff like that, but at least something minimal like that, maybe not a standardized test to say, hey, how good of a technician you are, just a license that just tells you that you're legit, so the consumer knows you're legit and you're licensed and insured, or that you're insured. It's not much to get your license, like just show like, hey, here's my DBA, which some people don't even run on on those fly by night companies, like, hey, you gotta have a DBA, you have to have insurance, and then you have your
Or
appliance
an
license.
LLC, because I
Yeah,
wasn't a
or yeah,
DBA. I
yeah,
was an
yeah.
LLC.
That's how I'm set up too. But at
Yeah.
least a DBA, something
Yeah.
like if they don't want
Yeah.
to go, just a minimum of something where if you do bad work, you can actually get that license revoked, and it's like that's better than nothing.
I like this. I I literally, so in my own basement, I forget how long we've had, well, since we moved into the house, however long ago that was. We put a whole home surge protector right at our
Panel.
breaker box. And we've had one tornado like directly went over top of us, and we were out of power for like a week and a half. And we've had a couple other really bad surges and storms and stuff like that, because it's aerial out there. We're aerial in my area because we used to be along train tracks, and we've not had an issue. I've not lost a computer, a TV, and anything. And ComEd, who is our supplier, they're notorious for dirty power, which is the line spikes are just like all over the place, and we've not had an issue. So yeah, there you go, Alex Hand, but he's also an electrician. Whole home surge protectors, man, nothing
They're worth
better.
it. They've come down in price too. They used to be like over $2,000. Alex, how much are you doing a whole house surge protector? Because they've come down in price. Because they used to be about $2,000, and now I've had some customers tell me about 900 now. That was whenever I lived in Texas, Colorado. We don't really get that many storms. It just doesn't rain that much. But
Oh,
I
I
used to
love
sell.
that. Check that out. Matter of code now in his area. On a service change, you have to install a surge protector to pass. That's super cool. Like
That's
that
awesome.
should be necessary basically everywhere. When I got mine, I got like the middle of the road one, and the surge protector itself was like $350, but that was, I don't know, 9-10 years ago. Yeah, so it's $250. It's basically just a breaker. You make a short of a wire as you can, and 220 breaker, and off you go. So
Gotcha. Yeah, I
yeah, they've
remember
come
like
way down.
I lived in Georgetown, which was Sun City, so it was a bunch of retired people that had a lot of money. That's where I get the prices from. So maybe they go a little steep, and then they started getting smart and they started lowering the prices.
No, I mean, they were more expensive because we had an electrician in our area. He said when he first started out, it was like he was charging like $1,000. As they were really beginning to gain some traction in our area, so he was charging like $1,000 at the time, and that was because his cost of material was higher at the time. And then, like I said, when I bought it almost 10 years ago, just to buy it from Amazon, it was like $350. I mean, it was not the cheapest thing in the world. And I had a friend of mine checking a supply house, and it wasn't, I mean, I think his cost was like 200 in the supply house. So Amazon charging 350 wasn't,
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't out of the realm, right? You know, same with 120 volt smoke detectors. Yeah.
Yep.
You know, so those connected ones really piss me off. We have them in the house, and I need to find a better brand or something. So if you have a brand recommendation, let me know, because what we did was garbage. They literally spent more time going off than they did like actually doing their job.
I was thinking about switching my house ones up because they're all connected to the Nest ones, but the cost of them are ridiculous. They're like, 100 and something bucks each detector, but what I like the idea of is that it hooked up to your app, and then if ones did have low battery or whatever, whenever I was reading about it, it would tell you on the app which one was having the issue instead of having to hear the beep and see which one, you know, is needing batteries replaced, and stuff like that. Because they all have, even though they're hooked up in the wall, they all have, backup batteries that you still have to replace. At least mine do.
Our
Um,
our house is a continual construction zone, so like it screws with the sensors. So we have one in the kids' bedroom that still is connected, and I think we have one by the kitchen. But we used to have all of them, just like he was saying, like inside each bedroom, inside each. Dude, we spent more time having to like go down and take them down because the sensors were all jacked up and everything. So those were the kiddo ones.
But back to the surge protectors and stuff, they do sell $10 single wall mount surge protectors that are perfect for appliances, for refrigerators and stuff that just need one outlet. So that is something that you can have on your truck stock in your area if, you have those power hikes and stuff like that. I used to keep them in my truck all the time. I'd like have 10 of them, and I would just sell them like candy. I would go to a customer's house, and sometimes they'll buy like 3 of them. They'll put it on their washer, their dryer, and their refrigerator. So that is a cool little truck stock item that you can kind of have a little bit of upsell.
See, I always thought you weren't supposed to put surge protectors on fridges because you can't check them. That's why I like the whole home surge protector, because at least it's like noticeable then, right? how many people are going to actually pull out their fridge? Like that was that always just like tweaked me out, you know.
Yeah, I would do it as a courtesy, but they would also beep the ones that I bought. If they were out, they would make a beep,
Oh, that's
so
cool.
it wasn't like, hey, my fridge is out and it just blew the surge protector. All they have to do is remove the surge protector and it'd be good. At least it would, sit there and beep.
Notify you. Yeah.
Yep.
No, that's cool. That's cool. See, seek wisdom. You learn something new every day. Didn't expect to learn that, but I learned that today. They have little single surge protectors that beep when they're dead. It's pretty cool.
Yep. Another good thing too is a leak sensor, for all the water that we deal with, that's always something that you can sell, I think they've come out with some new ones. I was at Johnstone, said they like had like a whole house leak detector that you could put sensors everywhere and it had a hub. And I got to look into those a little bit more because
I've been saying for years that should have been a thing, and there was just never a really good system for it to be tied into everything. So I'd be curious how that one works out.
That and then something that goes in the refrigerator, it could be a whole house detector system for leaks, and if your refrigerator is going down, and it can give you a text alert. These refrigerators are so high end, but they won't text you and tell you that the temperatures are rising and your food's about to spoil, and you're on vacation and you have pounds and pounds of deer meat in your freezer that's about to leak out blood everywhere. And you come back later.
This experience, buddy, is this experience?
Yes, it's experience. Going on to a multi-million-dollar home that has high-end wood floor and it's completely stained of blood because they were, over in Europe for a month and the fridge decided to go out. Who knows when, and create all of that damage. It's like these are my two things that refrigerators need to have. They need to have a clean condenser light that comes up like the water filter once a year that tells the customer to clean their darn condenser coils. Maybe that'll help the compressors not fail. Just a thought, we have a light that pops up for a freaking carbon filter that doesn't matter if it's replaced or not on a refrigerator. That, and then also telling when the refrigerator's going down,
Do you remember back in the day when it didn't matter if you had a dirty condenser? Like,
call it. My unit's not making as much ice, and the ice cream's a little soft. Can you come out and see what's wrong with it? It's like, oh, your condenser coil's dirty. It's like,
yeah, it cleaned it out, and the thing rocked and rolled again because the compressor actually had some cojones. Now it's like, nope, compressor's dead. You killed your compressor by not cleaning your coils.
Back when you can throw a 3-in-1 hard start on it and it would just run like a champ, even if you had a dirty coil and maybe it did take out the OEM start relay, pop on a hard start, boom, done. You never hear from them again, and thing rocks and rolls.
Once upon a time. But, we live and don't learn. So that's the point today. Live and learn. Please learn. Please, if you do nothing else, go learn. Go seek some wisdom. Don't think you know everything.
Yeah, be personable at supply houses and stuff like that, too. Don't think of everyone as a competition, like get to know them, network. You can always pick their brain, make it where it's a quick, easy phone call that you can call up and talk to somebody, even if you run into an issue, call up and I know EJ's been great at that. I know he's called you, before he's called me, just to pick our brains on certain stuff. You want that and his projection of growth is spiked at such a higher rate because of that, where he is business wise and also technician wise, so learn from that, don't be in your shell, get out
our good old Marcone rep dropping some part numbers for us in case you are curious out there and want to be able to upsell to your customer this little surge protector that Travis was talking about, a PP120 single line surge protector.
Yep.
There you go. See, ask and you shall receive.
Yep.
Just dropping some knowledge for you. All hail the VC. You're ridiculous, Andrew. You're
All
ridiculous.
hell for profit on the VCC.
There you go. That's more like the truth right there.
It's like, what's
Boy,
a couple wires and can make you a few $100 really easily?
you know, I still go back to it's the quality of materials because I mean, think about it. Think about that 20-year-old Amana with wires the size of Texas in it. And then you go and look at your Amana now and it's like I could sneeze and break that wire. Like,
Well, and a lot of it too is the gauge of the wire isn't really that much different. So it's just that much more insulation just so the wire wouldn't break.
there you go.
Come on, Whirlpool. Let's take some notes,
Quit
put
cheaping out.
thicker wires indoors so they don't break and not make ice or dispense. Like
all of a sudden you need $1,000 door because
yeah, that's a
we
special order.
saving 5 cents. Good job, guys. Good job.
Yeah.
So don't be like some of these big companies and swallow your pride. Seek some wisdom. Just seek some wisdom. Even a little, just little something every day. I like to challenge myself and try and learn something new. That's why I'm always reading. It helps me learn something new, or I'm in trainings or I'm whatever, because wisdom is really, really valuable. So anyway,
learn from that, people. Take that in what Zach just said. You always want to learn. You never want to plateau on your learning and say like, hey, I know it all in this industry. Let me just tune everyone out. I'll give all the wisdom, but don't take in any wisdom, because even newer techs, they might be able to give you wisdom, a different point of view because they're seeing it differently, so take that in too,
I said that right in the beginning. I was a brand new tech and I had 40-year techs asking me how to work on newer stuff. And conversely, I was able to then ask them how to work on really old stuff that I, just had no idea how to deal with. So, don't be too proud. And if you're a leader, you need to be a learner. Leaders are learners. And so spend your time, seek some wisdom, seek some knowledge, and challenge yourself to be a little bit, even 1% better every day is 365% better by the end of the year. So something to think about. Anyway, so I got a meeting I gotta jump into here. Thursdays are a long day for me. I'll be going until 7:00 my time tonight. So,
and my schedule almost feels a little bit like maybe Zach's. I feel like I got 100 Zoom meetings today. It's like with my marketing guy, Alex and Gary. Shout out to them. Those are my Thursday meetings with them, and then of course I'm switching over to Service Titan. So like I have all these different meetings, to get all of that set up. At least I'm not doing the training again. I have my CSR doing the training, so she gets to know it's the good training,
There you go.
But I'm doing all these one-on-one meetings, like getting my phones switched over to them and credit cards and getting on with Green Sky for doing where we can charge
financing.
Yeah, going blank on it, but yeah, which I know they might be, which I'm curious to see on Green Sky, because I set up with Wells Fargo before, and you were able to do normal services that you can charge customers. So once I know a little bit more about Green Sky, because I know they're one of the leading ones, if that's something that appliance companies can get on with, to offer financing for the customers. But I do know that they all take about 14% of their that's like their merchant fee to set up with them. So you do have to increase your price, but that could be an option to the customer. Like, hey, here's our cash price and here's our financing price, and give them the option. And, hey, you might be able to increase your sales, a little bit, it's a $400 ticket. They might not be able to afford it right that second. And, financing that might help them out. So I'll let you guys know on one of these Thursdays. I'll ask that question with them and see if you guys
Cool.
can sign up with them too.
We appreciate it. All right, guys. Y'all have a good day. Tomorrow is Freestyle Friday. Make sure you tune in for that. There's always something interesting that happens on Friday.
Yep.
Until then, peace out, guys. Enjoy.
Bye, guys.
Love your customers well. Bye.